I just want to know if there's anything I can do.
I just want to show these papers to somebody who knows what they mean.
I just want to know if I'm going to lose my house.
I just want them to pay me what they owe me.
I just want to protect my family.
I just want to see my kids.
I just want someone to listen.
I just want to be able to sleep at night.
I just want Mommy to stop crying.
I just want someone to care.
Justice, synonymous with fairness, equality, truth. It's a founding principle on which our country was formed. It is the conclusion, the finale, to the most often repeated sentence in our nation's history.
With liberty and justice for all.
But is that really the case?
After my husband walked out on me and the kids, I was devastated. He had always been the family provider and didn't even want me to work. But even though we had a child support agreement as part of the divorce, he wasn't following it. I found a job, but it didn't include medical care or even really come close to covering the monthly bills. I knew that when I was barely putting food on the table, I wasn't going to be able to pay an attorney. I figured I was just going to have to go without child support. I had a failed marriage, and now I felt like I was failing to protect my kids. I felt helpless.
After my husband passed away, I was shocked to learn that he hadn't been filing our income tax forms for the last few years. I don't know why he did it, but he did, and as his surviving spouse, the government was holding me liable for the unpaid debt. Suddenly, I was receiving letters demanding payment that was for more than I made in a year. I tried to call the IRS and explain that I couldn't pay this, but they were using all sorts of legal and financial terms I didn't really understand, and they just told me to pay it. I sure couldn't afford an attorney on my fixed income, but without one, I just didn't know how to get out of this situation. I felt so alone.
Last year at this time, my life was pretty good. Steady job, okay pay, decent home. Then the company I worked for just went belly up. No warning, just closed the doors. We didn't have a lot saved up, but what we did have was gone in a flash. Just paying the bills. I fell for one of those companies that said they could consolidate my debt. But all they did was take what little money we had left and did nothing. Before long, we were on the brink of foreclosure. I didn't know who to take my problems to or who to trust to help me. I'd let my family down. I was embarrassed. I felt ashamed.
It has been calculated that 1 out of 3 people in this area will experience poverty. 1 out of 3. Think about that. When you're sitting in church, or at the movie theater, or a ball game, the person to your left or your right may be suffering from a season of poverty. The next time you're standing in line at the grocery store, or sitting in traffic, it could be the person driving the car in front of you or behind. Can you tell who they are? Chances are you can't, because the poor tend to drop out of our view, but they really aren't out of our sight. In fact, they can be right next door. The poor are not always homeless, but they may be living in a relative's home instead of one of their own. They're not always jobless, but because of reduced hours or lowered pay rates, the basic needs of their household cannot be sustained through their income. They're not necessarily suffering from mental illness or the abandonment of loved ones, but they're suffering from anxiety, stress, and shame. It is the mission of Administer Justice to guide the poor out of the shadows. Through a comprehensive program of professional services offered at no cost, we offer hope. Help comes in the form of compassionate advocates, Attorneys, financial counselors, and professional mediators who don't just want to deal with the nuts and bolts of the problems, but the heart and soul of the person experiencing them. We want to see our clients overcome their fear of the unknown, their lack of understanding of their rights and obligations, or their reluctance to take that next step. And so we provide them with a plan, not just to solve today's problems, but to prevent them from being repeated tomorrow. And once they have that plan, we want to see them empowered to move forward, equipped with the tools they need to face a brighter future. Their hope depends on your help. We've all heard the phrase, "You have the right to an attorney." But did you know that this is only true if someone is being accused of a crime? The thousands of people we see every year have no such right. Without a legal advocate, they are left to fend for themselves.
Every day, our phones ring off the hook. Some days, our waiting room can't hold all the people who come to us for help. As the poverty rolls grow, so does the demand for our services. Too many low-income individuals don't even know there is such a thing as charitable legal assistance available. We need to reach them, and when we do, our staffing and services must be able to keep up. We never want to turn anyone away. Less than 12% of our support comes from government grants. We rely on the support of people just like you to answer the call to administer justice with mercy and compassion. Your support doesn't just fix a problem, it changes a life.
After I met with the attorney, I just knew everything would be okay.
Just knowing what was going to happen next took a huge load off my mind.
I just don't know what would have happened to us if they hadn't been there.